In this video, we're going to be looking at quadratic equations. A quadratic equation is an equation in which the highest power of the variable is 2. So, for example, x squared equals 9, or we may have x squared minus 2x equals 8, okay? And a quadratic equation may have 0, 1, or 2 possible solutions. So we're going to look at that in the examples very shortly. Okay, so we're going to look at some examples here, okay? And if we have x squared equals 36, okay, to get rid of the square, what we actually need to do is the opposite of it. So we're really taking the square root of both sides. Okay, so therefore, x is going to equal plus and minus square root 36. And I'm going to tell you in a second why we're going plus or minus 36. And the square root of 36 is 6, so our answer is plus or minus 6. The reason we have two answers for this is if we squared, okay, let's say we square 6 squared, that equals 36. And if we have negative 6, then we square it. Remember, that equals negative 6 times negative 6. And we know that two negatives multiplied together give it a positive, so it's also 36. So be careful with those and don't get confused with only having one answer. Okay, let's look at example B. We have 3x squared equals 27, but we want x squared by itself. So that's the same as saying 3 times x squared, so we want to divide both sides by 3. That will cancel out that, because 3 divided by 3 is 1. We're left with x squared equals 27 divided by 3 is 9. So now we need to take the square root of both sides because it's the opposite or the inverse operation of squaring a number. And then we get x equals plus or minus square root 9, which equals, therefore x equals plus or minus 3. Okay, let's do the final example now. We have a quarter x squared equals 16. I can rewrite that, okay, as x squared over 4 equals 16. It means the same thing as a quarter x squared, but it can just be written by that. Okay, and remember we need x squared by itself, so we need to get rid of the 4. So I need to multiply both sides by 4. That will cancel that out there. Therefore we get x squared equals 256. So we know it doesn't. It only equals, that's not going to get rid of. I'm just going to cross that out. X squared is going to equal 64. So therefore now we need to take the square root of both sides. And we get x equals plus or minus square root 64. So therefore x equals plus or minus the square root of 64. Okay, it's a square number. We've got to think of a number multiplied by itself that equals 64, and that is 8. So that's all there is to quadratic equations. Remember that when you take the square root of both sides, you will end up with two answers, a positive and a negative answer.